Hello, hello, hello. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and today is Wake Up Wednesday. Wake Up Wednesday is all about being intentional. So come on into the room and let's get this morning started. And intentionality is what we're going to talk about. And kind of the theme for the day is, are you living or are you merely existing? That is the question that I want you to ponder as we connect and talk this morning. If you are here, please comment because that's the only way that I know that you're here. I'm live in multiple places, and when you leave a comment, I can see that you're here and I can see where you are joining me from. It would either be Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Um, so I see a couple people have made their way in. You can give me a thumbs up, you can drop a comment, say good morning, and then I am aware that you are here and we are ready to get started. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning, Alicia. All right, so we've got a couple people who've joined us from Facebook. And I was just saying, I'm not sure if you guys heard, but we are talking about being intentional today. It's Wake Up Wednesday. And when I talk about waking up, not the physical, good morning, Kim, not the physical waking up, we're going to do that. But we want to wake ourselves up and become conscious of how we are living our lives. Y'all, I talk so much with my hands. When I see these videos back, I see my hands going everywhere. So I am being intentional about putting these things down and trying not to wave them around all over the place like I typically do. So Wake Up Wednesday is all about being intentional. And the question that I want you guys to ponder this morning, Kim, would you text Joanne? She was upset yesterday because she just did. Or Alicia, one of you guys, would y'all text her and let her know that we're on? So when you are intentional, you are making choices, conscious choices as to what you're going to do with your time and your energy, the most precious resources that we have. Our time resources are not renewable. Once that time is gone, it is gone. You can't get it back. So that's why we have the question that we have today. Are you living or are you merely existing? Thank you, Kim. And the difference between the two is when you're existing, you're here, but are you present? Are you controlling as much of your thoughts and your actions to ensure that those things are moving you towards the life that you desire? Are you making good choices for yourself? Before you can be clear about that question, the response to that question, you have to be really clear about what success looks like to you. What are you talking about when you say I want to have a good life? I want to be successful. Those are big, broad terms. You've got to break them down so you actually can measure when you've accomplished it or how far away you are from it or see yourself tracking towards it. You're only going to accomplish things that you can actually measure and are clear on. So you've got to start by getting a really clear definition of what it is that you're trying to achieve. You see that hand keeps, I just can't help it. I'm a hand talker. So what is it that you want to achieve? That's the first question, because you have to have a goal that you're being intentional towards, right? You have to have a destination, and then you can plot your chart to your route to that destination. So that's the first thing. And then once you know where it is you're trying to go, then you spend your time making choices and putting your energy into the things that will move you towards that goal, that desire. A way of it may not even be a thing. Maybe you're right now what you're focused on is peace or more relaxation, more quiet time. That's a great goal. Then you have to take that and go, what does that look like to me? Because if I say I want peace and quiet time, it may mean something completely different than what it would mean to you, Sonia, or you, Alicia, you, Kim. Your definition of quiet and peace may look completely different than mine. So that's why it's so important that you get clear about what it means to you. Because if I overlay my definition and I'm trying to give you tips and ideas and tell you how to be peaceful, all I'm doing is telling you how I would be peaceful. That may not completely translate to you. For some people, to be peaceful, they need to be on their own. They need to have some time by themselves. For other people, peaceful may be, spending the day with their grandbabies and enjoying them. And Kim's going to cook for them and they're all going to hang out and play some games. I think Kim would have some peace in that, right? So, but me, I'm around people all the time. So I enjoy, that's a different mode for me. So when I'm talking about being peaceful, I might want to be out by the lake, looking at some water, relaxing and enjoying just some quiet time with myself, or maybe a book. So it starts by getting really, really clear about what it is you want and what you're getting ready to, what you're willing to do to get there. So now we've got our goal in mind. We know exactly what it is. Now, every time we get ready to make a decision, the question is that moving me closer to or farther away from my goal? If it's moving you closer, then you continue to do that and plot the course closer, closer, closer to where you want to go. If it's not, then you realize that you're building obstacles for yourself. You're getting in your own way of achieving what it is that you would like to achieve. So it becomes very easy for your yeses and nos to be validated for you, because you don't have to validate them for anybody else. But it makes it really clear to you as to what you should say yes to and what you should pass on, because you're trying to get somewhere. You've got a goal that you are trying to accomplish, right? And so when you keep that in mind, you're in a position to get there smoother, easier, because you're not holding yourself back, right? And so that's why you have to ask yourself, am I living, or am I merely existing? I've got this goal in mind. That's part of living. You have to, when you're living, your life has purpose. Good morning, mother. Thanks for joining. When you are living, there's a purpose to your life. There's a reason why you're up. There's a reason why you're going through your day. You're not just going through the motions of your day, but you're intentional about what you're doing with that time and with that energy. You have purpose. No is a full sentence. Good morning, Kim. That is absolutely right. I've said that a few times myself, and I have to remind myself of that. We have a tendency when we say no to want to tell a whole story about why we can't do that thing, why we have to say no. When we find ourselves in that position, we're not comfortable with saying no. We're still in a place to where we have to justify our no. When you have a goal in mind, when you have a life that you're trying to achieve, a type of life, things you want to do, your no's are just as powerful and sometimes more powerful than your yeses. A lot of times people will say, oh, it's only going to take a few minutes. It's not that big of a deal. If you could just do this, and you allow them to walk you back from your no. And before you know it, you've done a whole bunch of little bitty things that have added up to a full day, and you haven't gotten around to doing the things that you needed to do to accomplish your goals. So you have to be a little selfish when it comes to your goals. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's self-full, fulfilling yourself so that you can create the life that you desire. I think I heard Iyanla Vanzant say that one time. It's not selfish, it's self-full. And we all could use a little bit of that. We've been taught that we have to give to the point of pain. And that's not what our lives are about. We are supposed to give. I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. I want to be loving and supportive to my family, my friends, especially my parents, help keep my adult children. The list goes on and on and on and on of the people that I care about and want to pour into their lives. But guess what? You guys have heard this before. You can't pour from an empty bucket. If there is nothing inside, I have nothing to give, right? So I have to step back. I have to make good decisions for myself. I have to fill my cup, as my daughter would say. I have to fill my cup so that when a real need comes that I want to help someone with, I'm in a position to where I've got something to pour into their lives. So you have to, it has to be cyclical. There's times where you're pouring and there's times where you're receiving. If you find yourself at a place where you're always pouring, you will find yourself at a place where you get really empty really quickly, and you also get resentful. And sometimes we set ourselves up in our relationships just by the way our mind works, and we don't even realize it. If we condition people to always expect us to pour into them, and it's a one way, it's a one directional relationship. We're pouring, we're pouring, we're pouring, and there's never anything that's coming back. Eventually you end up ruining that relationship. You've taught that person that, so there's nothing unusual for them. You set the relationship in motion that way. And when I say you, I'm not even looking in the camera, because I'm looking at my face, because that's how I lived my life for so long. I said yes to whatever people asked me to do, whether I wanted to do it or not. I didn't feel empowered to say no. And because I didn't feel empowered to say no, I found myself often doing things that I did not want to do. And I would do them anyway because I was a people pleaser. And then I would resent the very people that I was trying to please. It wasn't necessarily their fault. At some point in time, it would have been great if they became conscious and aware and go, you know what, this is out of balance. I'm always taking from her and I never do anything in return. Maybe let me bless this girl for a moment. If that's not the nature of the relationship, where and you're just pouring and pouring and pouring, Joanne says emptiness. That's what happens. You get empty, and instead of refilling yourself, you start to get filled up with some negative energy. You fill yourself up with resentment. You fill yourself up with frustration. You fill yourself up with things that you don't want. And then when somebody innocently comes to you, is trying to interact with you the way that they always have, you may just blow up all over them. They have no idea why you're mad. They have no idea why you're treating them that way. They don't know what's going on because they only have part of the story. And the story that you've written for them says, yeah, you get angry. But the story that you've written for them says, I'm okay. This is how we interact. I'm here to provide. And here we go. And so it's a one-sided relationship. And often it's the giver that has made it that way, because of some people are just conditioned the way we're conditioned. And if we don't stop and tap into ourselves and start to peel back the onion and go, why do I treat my relationships like this? Why do I interact with people like this? Why don't I set up relationships that are beneficial for me and for the other person? Now, when I say beneficial, I don't mean that every time you do something for somebody, you're keeping score and you're waiting for something in return. That's not what I mean. Some people who are the most beneficial to me are the people who will drop me a note every once in a while. Like this morning, Kim reached out to me and said, "It's Wake Up Wednesday." She's excited by the fact that we're getting ready to have this call. That pours into me. That gets me excited. That gets me ready to connect and to talk to you guys. And she does little stuff like that throughout the day, because right now she's really receiving from what's going on here. But she's not just receiving, she's giving back, because she's supporting what I'm doing, and she's giving me the energy to let me know that it's a benefit to her. So we're in a nice little groove here where she's getting something, I'm getting something, all is well. It's not necessarily meaning that she's got to give me exactly what I'm giving her, but I see benefit in the relationship. She sees benefit in the relationship. It's not a leechy type of thing where one person is the host and the other person is just taking and taking and taking. It's not about money. It's not about status. It's not about anything. It's about relationship. And relationship is a two-way street. And in a good relationship, each person is getting something back. We're intentional about how we're interacting with each other. She just says, I believe in you. I need every word. She could just sit there and listen. She doesn't have to reply back, but when she does, it gives me a little bit of a boost. It's, like a little inoculation. It keeps me going. And she's not just doing it, on screen. She's doing it behind the scenes when she's texting me throughout the day. And those types of things pour back into me, give me courage and encouragement and energy to keep going. So that's just a simple example of a relationship where both people are getting something. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to be misunderstood and go, hey, I gave her $20. So, the next time I need 10, she better be the first person to show up with money. And I'm not saying that. It's all about connecting and taking care of each other. Good morning, Terry. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Joanne says balance. And Terry is concurring. So I appreciate you guys for all being here and for contributing to the conversation. We've got people on right now from Facebook as well as from YouTube. I'm not sure if any of the LinkedIn folks are on yet. If you catch this later, please hashtag replay. Leave your comments. I go back and I look for them and I reply to the people who see it later as well. But for those of you who are here, I thank you for being here, and I am so enjoying all the feedback. It really helps me. So back to Wake Up Wednesday, being intentional. When you are living an intentional life, you are moving with purpose. You know what your purpose is, and you are taking action. You are moving in a way to fulfill that purpose. You are positioning yourself for success. What is success? Success is the fulfillment of your personal purpose. It's not my definition. It's not my mama's definition. It's not your uncle's definition. It's not the world's definition. You determine what your success is and describe that in great detail for yourself. I've started to work on, I've mentioned this before, but a lot of you guys are here for the first time. I was watching a TikTok a few months back, and a couple months ago, and this lady was just sitting and she was writing and writing and writing, and I started to hear Steve Harvey's voice in the background, and she was doing his voiceover. She was writing to it, and it said, write 300 things that you're asking God for. Make your list of 300 things. Read it with expectation every day, and then a year from the day that you start your list, come back to it and see how many of those things have come into fruition. And I got all excited about that. 300 is a huge number. I'm still not done, but I'm over 250, so I'm getting there. I'll probably finish it up in the next few weeks, I hope. But you read that list, because it's similar to doing a vision board. You've got the list in front of you. You are consistently reminding yourself of the desires of your heart. You're believing that those desires are going to come true. And then you're getting the evidence of that every time something happens. So he said, come back in a year and see how many of those things have come into being, right? I had a week where for 3 days, I put something on the list, and the very next day it happened. And I was so blown away. That charged me up so much to go, I have to keep writing. I have to keep doing this. And what was even more powerful than that, 300 is such a huge number. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to think of 300 things. My life is so blessed. I have so much. I can't imagine wanting 300 things. But here's what happened. After I got through some of the fluff stuff, after you get through the things that immediately come to mind, what happens is you start to dream, you start to fantasize, you start to really look at what your life can be. And then those things start to come up. I'll give you an example. I was just sitting there quietly with my list. I had gotten however far I had gotten, and I thought I was done. And I wasn't anywhere near 100, I don't think, at that point. And I started to see this conference. This conference came to mind. And Kimberly Holiday, if you're still here, this is something that I think that eventually you and I will be a part of together. This conference came to my mind, and it was about, I still don't have the title of it clear because I'm so verbose. I have so many words that I have a hard time kind of, bringing those in to something that's crisp and clean. But the conference is basically about living your life to the fullest in all aspects of your life. And so I saw myself bringing in a 2-day conference. So we're at a nice hotel. We start the day with some mindfulness type stuff. We have prayer and get centered. And then we have have different, we have keynote speakers and we have breakout sessions. In the middle of the day, we have another right before food, we pray again, and just all these different things where the details were starting to fill in my mind for something I'd never thought about before. All of a sudden, I can see it. I saw some of the people who were going to be a part of it. I saw physical, people who were who were like physical trainers, fitness people having some sessions with us. I saw people who are into clean living and how you cook, doing some sessions and demonstrations for us. I saw finances. I saw people who are in the finance space teaching us some classes. I saw people working with folks on their transitions. Are you about to become an empty nester? Are you about to graduate from college and move into the work world? Are you about to, are you getting ready for retirement? All these different sessions, 2 days worth, and the attendees could pick and choose based on what is important to their life. There would be sessions that they could go into and get the encouragement that they need, get the training that they need. And after 2 days of being filled, they walk away and are able to, go and enhance the life that they've been dreaming of. Nothing like that was on my mind. Had never thought of hosting a conference. And because I was doing that list and I was just kind of dreaming about, what is it that I would like to do next? What's some big things that I would like to do with my life? And it just started to unfold. So let me encourage you that if you don't have a list, if you don't have a vision board, get one. If you need help with a vision board, I've written a book about it. I host them. DM me. Call me. A lot of you guys know me personally, so reach out, and I am happy I can come out and do it for you myself if you want a guided session, or if it's something that you want to do on your own and you just have some questions. I am happy to answer those questions so that you can get it going. I actually have a virtual vision board party that I'm hosting on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central. So there's a Facebook Live event. You can sign up for it all the way through Saturday and get your vision board going. That's not what I intended to talk about, but things unfold how they unfold. But that 300 list was powerful, is powerful, because I keep seeing what it is I desire. And I keep seeing those things happen. Several things on my list now already have a fulfillment date. So I can only imagine how empty my list is going to be by the time I get to a year from the day that I started. And I will probably have new things continually added to the list, even beyond the 300, because it puts your mind in a position to dream and to imagine the life that you really want, and things start to pop up that you wouldn't have otherwise thought about. So intentional living is living with purpose, having a purpose, and creating the activities and the actions that will help you to fulfill that purpose. You are positioning yourself for success, and success is the fulfillment of the purpose that you have defined for you. So that is what our Wake Up Wednesday is all about. It's about being intentional. I hope you guys got something out of this discussion. We're almost 25 minutes in. So again, wordy, chatty. So I am going to wrap it up. If you guys have questions after this, feel free to keep dropping them in the comments. I get notified when something pops in, and I do go back and respond to those. So Kim says, yes, and I also do 300 things that I'm grateful for. Gratitude is powerful, guys. When she said, she has hit on something. If you want to get out of a bad mood, if you want to have something to help you combat bouts of depression and low mood, keep a notebook by your bed. And when you start to feel some of those things, start writing what you're grateful for. If you're in a situation and you feel yourself getting heated, just stop and think for a minute about what you're grateful for. It is a natural, calming, mood shifting tool. Use it. Keep it at the forefront of your mind, because it's something you can pull out at any time and rebalance yourself and remove some of those negative things that you might be experiencing. You may not remove them, but it'll at least get you in the mindset to deal with them better. So Kim, thanks for sharing that. Gratitude is powerful. All right. If there is nothing else, I thank you guys so much for joining. We are going to wrap up our Wake Up Wednesday. If you're able to join me this weekend, I would love it. I'm going to be on Facebook Live Saturday at 2 o'clock hosting a virtual vision board party. When you see the event, you've got two options. I've put a list there of supplies. So if you want to do a physical board and go out and buy a board, I've got a list of all the things that you need to be ready. And if you want to do a virtual board, there's a link there to Canva so you can download it for free. And I can walk you through how you can create a virtual board in Canva as well. All right, that is it for this Wake Up Wednesday. You guys have a wonderful day on purpose. Think about what you're doing at any point in time and ask yourself, is it moving you towards your goals, or is it moving you away from your goals? Live with intention. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.